This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Moving forward, full steam ahead. We're looking forward to opening towards the end of this year.
An ambitious goal for the people behind part of the large entertainment, retail, residential, and tourist development under construction in downtown Indianapolis. After years of planning, work to turn the old Coca-Cola bottling factory into something brand new is well underway tonight.
And one piece of the project is preparing to open in the coming months. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker found out where it stands tonight and why nearby businesses that are dealing with the pandemic are optimistic.
The development as a whole, just for the district, it continues to make really great progress.
Amy Isbell Williams, Bottle Works Hotel's general manager, explains what all this construction will eventually look like when it's finished.
It's a 139-key boutique hotel. We'll have 9 event spaces, totaling over 12,000 square feet of meeting space. That also includes an open-air urban courtyard, which is really neat. Starts on the 2nd floor of the hotel, nothing like it in the city.
But we are in the middle of a global pandemic, which creates many new concerns and questions.
What steps are you taking to make sure your guests will be safe whenever you do open?
Taking steps to make sure that we are able to do mobile check-in. We are utilizing a service called Alice. The guests can text the front desk if they need something, and then they can put it outside the door, and it's a no-contact solution.
All the businesses in the immediate area of this massive project are watching the work closely, knowing that their success will be a positive thing for them.
Overall, we just thought it would be a good location with a brand new hotel coming in. Gen Con is typically the biggest event we have here in Indianapolis. It brings tens of thousands of people. Those people usually book their hotels, give it a year in advance or so.
Jason Rice, store manager at Moonshot Mass Ave, knows people going to Gen Con will flock to their store for board games and card games. Being situated across from the Bottle Works Hotel puts them in a prime spot.
If the hotel comes along and if all the other Bottle Works facilities open up, the stores and everything they have planned there, that would be fantastic. Obviously, if they don't, things won't be as good, but we're hoping to get by.
That's how many employees of businesses near what will be the new hotel are feeling. Cautiously optimistic as the pandemic continues. Amy, though, is sure the Bottle Works Hotel will be open toward the end of this year, and it'll be a good thing for everyone.
They're going to bring them to that very east end of Mass Ave where, maybe people aren't venturing that far, and now it's going to be, a landmark for people to come to. Working
for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
The Bottle Works Hotel, a food hall, movie theater, along with retail and office space are the first phase of the $300 million Bottle Works District project. More details about the project can be found in this story on the IndyChannel.com.
Marion County's mask mandate went into effect today, 1 week after it was first announced by Mayor Joe Hogsett and public health officials. During that period, the mayor says the county has been able to distribute 400,000 free masks to residents through indy.gov/masks and community organizations. Marion County Health Department Director Dr. Virginia Kane says masks are the next critical step in slowing down the spread of COVID-19.
Don't forget, as we've opened up the new phases of our COVID-19, schools are going to be starting. We may have increased travel from visitors from outside the state. This is a necessary intervention.
Dr. Kane and Mayor Hogsett handed out more masks at Gleaner's Food Bank today. Masks are now required in all public places with exceptions for children 2 and under and those who have a hard time communicating with a mask on and those experiencing homelessness.
And free testing for COVID-19 is still available statewide. Anyone who lives or works in Indiana is eligible. You do not have to have symptoms or be in a high-risk group. You can register by going to lhi.care/COVID testing or by calling 888-634-1116. More than 542,000 people in Indiana have been tested for the virus, according to the State Department of Health, and just over 9% have tested positive. And 2,546 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19.
Nationwide, more than 133,000 deaths are now blamed on the virus. Cases are rising in dozens of states. 10 are breaking records when it comes to hospitalizations. ABC's Oreen Shaw reports the biggest hotspot in the world, once again, is in the U.S.
It's the epicenter of the coronavirus, now home to the globe's highest rate of infection. In Arizona, scenes like these, 3 generations of one family parked in a long line just after midnight, desperate for testing.
Is it worth spending a night in a car with an 80-year-old? Yes.
I say yeah.
Arizona's governor, who had not given a public coronavirus briefing in over 9 days, speaking out today, signing an executive order to reduce indoor dining to less than 50% capacity.
I also want to emphasize that you are safer at home.
Kentucky's governor also putting new mandates in place, requiring everyone in the state's public spaces to wear a mask starting tomorrow evening. Dr. Anthony Fauci with even harsher suggestions in an interview with 538's Podcast 19, saying some states should look at shutting down.
Despite the guidelines and the recommendations to open up carefully and prudently, some states skipped over those and just opened up too quickly. Certainly Florida, I think jumped over a couple of checkpoints.
Florida, according to the New York Times, with an astonishing 1,400% uptick in average daily COVID cases compared to when they reopened roughly 2 months ago. Patients facing intense physical challenges and emotional ones.
One of the worst feelings of being there is seeing these patients fight for their lives and not having their families near them.
Some hospitals running out of places to even put those patients fighting for their lives. Texas Medical Center at 105% capacity. And Texas's governor saying the numbers will look worse going into next week. President Trump, though, still painting a different picture than the data or his top infectious disease expert.
We have among the lowest mortality rate anywhere in the world.
But as a country, when you compare us to other countries, I don't think you can say we're doing great. I mean, we're just not.
California today with its highest daily death toll, 149 lives lost. Officials urging people to wear masks, fearing a double tragedy that people could pass the virus on to firefighters right as we approach this critical fire season. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And now to the forecast. It's dry tonight in downtown Indianapolis, but rain and storms are in the forecast once again. Kevin is timing out the wet weather ahead of us. Kevin.
And the storms are about a half state away. I'll show you those in a second, but it's not perfect timing. These will weaken as they move east into Indiana. Still may have some strong winds in the western portion of the state as they cross the Wabash River. Dry right now. Temperatures are warm. Here's the line of thunderstorms. As these move east, they'll lose a little punch, and I think there'll be breaks in that line of storms. Right now, I time it out. It's probably 1:30 or so before they approach the state line and march to the east from there. There's a very low risk for any severe storms in the western portion of the state. We wake up tomorrow morning, scattered showers and thunderstorms. So if they're fizzling in the morning, where will they refire up during the afternoon? I'll have that answer coming up.
A Central Indiana woman who works with students is using her voice after losing her job.
I really firmly believe that my purpose from God was to have this interaction and be there and to be an example for the LGBT community and show a lot of people that you can be gay and be a Christian.
Crystal Brazel says Lutheran High School in Indianapolis fired her because she is gay. She started working there as an athletic trainer in 2015 as part of Franciscan Health's sports medicine program. In 2017, she started coaching the softball team. She says things changed in February after a meeting with school officials.
I was told I could no longer coach there. They read me a handbook that I'd never seen before and asked me if I could sign, stating that I could follow the handbook. And of course I couldn't. I was getting married, and in 9 days now I'm getting married to my beautiful fiance, Samantha. I was authentically myself for all 5 years, so I really still don't quite understand why after 5 years you now decide to make an example of me and my sexual orientation.
Crystal hopes that by speaking up, it will start a conversation about changing the culture at Lutheran. She's now preparing to start a new job as the athletic trainer at New Augusta in Pike Township. And the Lutheran High School released a statement saying in part, quote, Lutheran High School of Indianapolis is founded on the doctrine of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and expects employees and shepherd its students to respect and live consistently by these principles.
IMPD is one step closer to equipping officers with body cameras. Today, the department announced it has signed a contract with the company Utility. The 5.5-year deal is worth about $9 million. It covers the cost of leasing the technology, installing the equipment, upgrades, and maintenance. The city says 1,100 IMPD officers will eventually have body-worn technology. Rollout is scheduled to begin in the coming weeks.
Police have arrested the suspect accused of driving into protesters in Bloomington earlier this week. Call 6 Investigates Stephanie Wade talked to advocates who say this is just one step in their march for justice.
A 66-year-old woman was arrested late last night at a motel in Scottsburg, just about an hour and a half southeast from here. She's accused of hitting 2 protesters with her car, dragging them 2 blocks right here during demonstrations Monday night.
I'm relieved that they caught the perpetrator and that they've arrested her.
The Bloomington City Clerk, Nicole Bolden, says she's happy there's some progress in the steps toward justice in her city.
This is an opportunity to talk about it and to really start taking steps to address a larger problem and a larger pattern of issues that are going on in the community.
Christy Bennett faces preliminary charges of criminal recklessness and leaving the scene of an accident, resulting in serious bodily injury after hitting the 2 protesters with her car, following an alleged racist attack at Lake Monroe. Vox Booker says he was attacked by several white men who threatened to get a noose and lynch him.
The city council recently passed a resolution decrying racism in the community, and I think the city would like to see something more happen.
There have still, however, been no arrests in that case. An update expected very soon.
I grew up here and went to school, and it's not uncommon, and I tell, some of my friends, my kids, that I could almost write a book of things that I've seen growing up here. I think the institution, it's pretty deep and long running, and this is long overdue.
In Bloomington, I'm Call 6 Investigates Stephanie Wade.
More demonstrations are planned in Bloomington tomorrow.
Coming up, Walmart is planning to build what would be the biggest distribution facility here in central Indiana. Where that project stands tonight and how many jobs the center would create.
A big decision about Big Ten sports. What an announcement from the conference means for fans and student athletes. And a little later.
What's the risk if I take an Uber or a Lyft?
Our partners at Newsy take that question to experts. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Orthopedic retailer in North America, Ashley Home Store.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
The future of $600 million project in Hancock County could be decided next month. Walmart plans to build a more than 2 million square foot facility at County Roads 500 North and 500 West outside of McCordsville. A final vote will be taken after a public hearing in August. If approved, the executive director of the Hancock County Economic Development Council tells WRTV he expects 1,000 people to work at the distribution center when it initially opens. If all goes as planned, the facility will break ground in the fall.
As the weather warms up, it is really starting to feel like summer out there. The nice weather combined with the pandemic keeping us inside for months, you can imagine area teens are ready to get out of the house too. RTV6's Cameron Riddle shows you how Indianapolis is providing young people with a safe place to have fun this summer.
Keeping teens of Indianapolis safe and out of trouble is the goal of Safe Summer, a citywide initiative aimed at reducing violent crime in Indy.
Each week we are bringing a message about community engagement, family engagement, conflict resolution, and also safety.
The Safe Summer program is backed by Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett, whose office is collaborating with community programs and leaders to provide safe spaces for Indy's youth in 3 different parts of the city. Casby Williams says the program is an opportunity for young people 13 and older to have fun while knowing someone is watching out for them.
We want to reach those young people that feel as if no one cares about them. We want to reach out to those young people who may not have a strong family structure. We want to reach out to those young people who are looking for stuff to do on Friday nights because they get bored and they don't want to get in trouble.
Safe Summer will take place every Friday night from 7 until 10 p.m. This year's activities include everything from basketball to swimming to video games to movie nights and workshops on conflict resolution and even hygiene. Williams says last year's program gave a Friday night home to more than 300 teens across the city.
This program is important because we see the need that young people do want to get out the house and have fun and engage in their community.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Safe Summer starts this Friday and will take place weekly until August 14th. You can find activities at Bethel Park on the near southeast side, Municipal Gardens on the west side, and at the Community Alliance of the far east side.
Kevin Gregory joins me now in studio. And Kevin, it was a hot day, but dry day. Some changes are in store, though, right?
We will break our string of 90-degree days, Amanda. We had 7 straight, and we'll start a string of 80-degree days before something happens next week. That in a second. 60% chance of rain, and that's really for the first half of tomorrow. I don't want to build your expectations up so high you're disappointed if you don't see rain. I don't think we'll all see rain. This will be a broken line of thunderstorms that moves through. Another opportunity comes over the weekend, though. We get temperatures in the 80s for a few days, and then look what happens. Next week, we'll see a blast of even warmer air. Warmest temperature so far this year may reach 96 with a slight chance of thunderstorms as we get to Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Temperatures still above 80 degrees in Muncie. We're at 80 in Indianapolis. Dry right now. I think those of you along the state line will begin to see the lightning flash to the west in Illinois as the line of thunderstorms starts to move east, but it's still well to the west now. It'll take a while, probably 1:30 or 2 o'clock before it reaches the state line. Some gusty winds with this, but the overall severe threat will continue to diminish. 1 a.m. you see the line that's put together. As it slides to the east, it's weakening, so it's not a favorable time overnight as we start to calm the atmosphere. But as we get to the mid-morning tomorrow and afternoon, it starts to fire up again. But in eastern Indiana, pushing into Ohio. That's how we may be skipped over in some spots. Another change for tomorrow, we'll finally have some wind. We've been in a stagnant pattern where we've not had much wind at all, but a little gust over 30 miles per hour tomorrow out of the west-northwest after the cold front goes through. Best chance for rain, morning hours tomorrow. We start to change the humidity a bit. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s for an afternoon high tomorrow. By 10 a.m., there's the line of storms firing up once again. It comes together a little more intense with better coverage, but that's as it's crossing into Ohio and pushing away from central Indiana. 7-day forecast. Temperatures the next several days, at least through Monday, in the 80s with a little bit lower humidity. Thunderstorm chances again increase Saturday night and then continue Sunday. And then we just turn up the thermostat, so to speak. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, temperatures surge well into the 90s with low temperatures in the mid-70s. Amanda?
Well, the NBA restart tips off. In 3 weeks, players, coaches, and all league personnel are staying in a so-called bubble at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. 22 teams are participating, including the Pacers. Our Brad Brown shows how they are preparing in tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight.
An extended stay at Walt Disney World's Grand Floridian Resort would generally be a fantastic summer getaway. But it'll simply be a long business trip for the Pacers, perhaps a very long one.
It hasn't really even hit me yet personally that, we're going to be in a bubble for 2.5, 3 months. I think it's not going to hit anybody until we're actually there and living it. We got a couple of weeks under our belt. But yeah, I think this is a time that people have already slotted certain teams to win this thing, and it's not going to be that easy.
The team will spend the next 3 weeks practicing inside the NBA's Disney World bubble. 8 games to finish the regular season follow that, and then the playoffs begin in mid-August.
Our focus will be to approach those games, certainly to get our guys back into a rhythm and build them, get them ready for the playoffs. But our approach is going to be to try and win games. That's what we play for.
The biggest storyline comes with Victor Oladipo opting out of the summer session. But remember, the Pacers played the first 3 months of this original season without their all-star guard.
The chemistry's been great all year. It started getting better towards the end, I feel like. And it's only going to get better now when we play. After having a couple months off, I know the whole team has been watching film, so we kind of process things a lot easier, once you're playing.
Good thing is, obviously, we've had almost that full year together, so hopefully we can get back right to it. But we all know how it is when you come back to playing. You don't know where everyone's going to be. Some people might be clicking and rolling from the jump. Some people might not be. But, I think that's a challenge.
A ton of unknowns heading into this, the largest being if the whole thing even gets started. But the Pacers are hoping to maximize their time spent in Florida.
None of us know what to expect, going down there. I think we're going to be adapting and adjusting to a lot of things once we get to Orlando.
A lot of teams probably don't want to be there. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are hopping on the plane kind of second guessing if we should go. But I think we have a lot of good guys in our locker room that are motivated to win.
The Pacers will have 3 scrimmages in Orlando starting on the 23rd. That is ahead of the NBA seeding games beginning on July 30th. And then the Pacers' first official game is set for August 1st. They'll play basically every other day for those 8 regular season games, and then the playoffs begin on August 16th. The team will have its first practice in the Coronado Springs Ballroom coming up on Friday. And the Big Ten announcing on Thursday that all of its fall sports contests will be held only within the conference. Football, soccer, women's volleyball, cross country, and field hockey are the sports included. The Big Ten may try to add a 10th game for football, as each school will be losing 3 non-conference games. Student athletes that opt out of their season will still have their scholarships honored. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Learn more at indianavoters.com.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
With restaurants and bars back open and social activities picking back up, you may be wondering how safe it is to take a ride share. Here's what our partners at Newsy learned.
When it comes to getting sick with COVID-19, you might be thinking about this, and we have too. Brian asked,
what's the risk if I take an Uber or a Lyft?
We asked the experts. Their take, contracting COVID-19 from riding in or driving a ride share is medium risk.
So we know that this virus spreads most easily in indoor settings or when you're in close proximity to someone who is infected. And being in a car with someone who's infected would kind of fit into that criteria as well. I know many ride shares are really encouraging drivers and passengers not to use those services if they're feeling ill. And that's definitely something that we would recommend to everyone.
The shared rides certainly are a little more concerning that way, but I have seen a lot of these services, they're very much aware of this as well. So they're putting up either plastic or plexiglass there to really keep that barrier. I think that's important.
Additionally, if you mask or the driver is also masked, that would further decrease your risk of getting infected in those settings. The other way that the virus can be transmitted is through common surfaces. And so anyone who is driving Uber or Lyft should take care to wipe down surfaces in between passengers in their car as well to further decrease their risk.
If you have a question about your risk, email us a video question to what'stherisk@newsy.com.
Businesses helping our economy and community as a whole.
Thunderstorms lined up to our west, and again, timing this out, looks like it'll probably be around 2 a.m. before the line of storms reaches western Indiana. Should be thinning out at that point. Best chance for thunderstorms first half of tomorrow in the afternoon. Cooler with less humidity in the air and drying out. Mark?
All right, Kevin, thank you for that. And thank you to all of you at home for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI comes your way at 4:30. Have a great evening, everybody.